Are you wondering how to deal with an estranged adult child who has a toxic partner? Well, in this video, we're going to be discussing some key strategies of what to do. Hi, I'm Marie Morin. I'm a therapist and a wellness coach. Let's get started. So, according to Joshua Coleman, the author of the book, Rules of Estrangement, there's some really good strategies. But before we begin with the strategies, we have to remember that toxic partners to our estranged adult child puts a lot of blame on them. And it doesn't take responsibility in any way, shape, or form that maybe it's our adult child, or maybe it has a lot to do with the parent. So the first thing that we consider is that in order to avoid conflict, adult children get so overwhelmed and flooded that they pull back from the relationship at all, especially if parents have been working hard to get their child to change their ways, to see things differently. So let's dive into the strategies. Number one is to start with ourselves. This means we look at our blind spots. Where have we encouraged division or conflict, or have overwhelmed or flooded either our child's partner or our adult child? Where have we done that? So we want to look at ourselves. We may think that we have been wonderful parents and do everything upstanding and be very supportive, and maybe we've done a lot of really good things. But in fact, there might have been things that we have done that has literally pushed our children into the arms of their partner, who is alert to some of the things that we might be doing and pointing this out to them. So how can you tell if you had something to do with your adult child's estrangement? Well, the first thing is to try and see if the behaviors that your adult child and their partner are telling you about perhaps mirror the very same behaviors and problems that you have with either friends, co-workers, people that you know, neighbors, maybe other family members. Another thing is to consider if other people have been mentioning that perhaps your behavior is problematic to them and you haven't been really paying attention to that. Another clue that maybe this has something to do with you and not just them is that you've made attempts in the past that were well received. You've done some changing, you communicated better, and they were receptive to you. The second thing that you want to do is to be sure that when you do send a card regularly to your estranged adult child, that you include something like, how is their partner? Please send my regards, something that helps them to know that you haven't just rejected her or alienated her on your side, but that you're taking a posture of inclusion and acceptance, that this is their spouse or partner and that you accept them. In your correspondence with your adult child, remember that they are the audience. They're looking to see what you're going to say. If you don't include their spouse, it tells them that you're not accepting of their decisions. Your adult child is looking to see if your behaviors have changed. So when you do correspond in any way, be sure to mention them and wish them well. In actuality, it's your adult child who's checking to see if you have changed. They want to know that your behaviors are safe enough for them, that they're not going to be receiving comments, conflict, criticism, questioning, but a lot of acceptance. After all, this is his life, her life, and this is their spouse, and they want to know that they could continue in their relationship with you not being a problem or a source of conflict. It's not a good idea to try and create a relationship outside or away from their spouse unless your adult child wants to do that. Number 3 is don't complain, criticize, or make any kind of negative comments to your adult child about their spouse. It will get back to them and it will make matters worse. In fact, it doesn't feel supportive to them. They know if they're having conflict with their partner that things are tough. They certainly do not need your chiming in to help them feel worse. Let them know that you trust their judgment and that you are there to be a support to them, to listen, but you will not be making any comments because that will be safer for you and a lot more comfortable for your adult child. And number 4 is to respect the limits that they give you with your grandchildren, whether you like it or not. They are their kids, so they have a right to set the limits that they want to. And it really just needs to be respected. Right and amends, even if you haven't done anything wrong. Now, I know, let's take a moment here and pause. What the amends is not like, oh, I'm so sorry for everything I did. It's more of a letter, and Joshua Coleman explains it in his book, but it's a letter that states, I'm deeply sorry if there was anything I ever did that hurt you or offended you. I just want you to know I'd like to apologize for that. What this letter does is open the door for a possible reconciliation. They may have some type of offense that has come about because of something you said or didn't say, or something you did or didn't do. And when you write this open amends letter, it's a way of opening a door to a possible reconciliation, as well as sincerely allowing yourself to say, you know what? Yep, they might have done a bunch of things that I was not really too happy about. So the idea of the amends letter is to allow your adult child and their spouse to see you apologizing and having a sense of responsibility. Sometimes we don't know that we've done things that have been offensive to them or hurtful or in any way harmful to them. It could just be our well-meaning attempt to, try and influence or control on our own way because we have something we want to say. It could be a number of different things. But the point is that if you sincerely have come to, from the first step, understanding that you've had some blind spots and there's some things that you have done that could have been understood in a way that was harmful to them, you're taking responsibility really makes a pathway towards possibly reconciling and reunifying with your adult child and their partner. And number 6, if your child says that you haven't apologized enough, then apologize again. Yes, I know. Remember, this is what Dr. Joshua Coleman recommends. And the logic here, and I get it too, is you as a parent with all your heart wants to be reunified with your adult child and his family. And you're not going to leave any stone unturned if you have the ability to do so. And so if they say that you haven't apologized enough, then apologize again. What we need to remember is that this complicated, complex topic of estrangement doesn't just hurt parents, it hurts adult children. And it rarely is the fault of just one person. There are toxic people in the world. There are toxic parents. There's toxic children. There's toxic partners and siblings and all sorts of toxic people in the world. But we've had our own things as well and have not been perfect. Seeing through this lens that we all have the potential to do harmful things to others will help us in any attempt to deal with our estranged adult child who may have a very strong-willed and very well may have toxic behaviors also. So how do you cope when your adult child won't talk to you and their partner is toxic? We're going to be discussing that in the next video. Please hit the like, subscribe, ring the bell, and don't forget to get my ebook, Feeling Heartbroken and Alone, How to Pick Up the Pieces When You're Estranged. See you in the next video.